So we're good. We're ready.
Ready to go?
We are ready to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, our clap. There you go. Let's make a claps here. Can we do this? Right. Oh, there's a peak. Okay.
Perfect.
So we are good. So it has to be official, right?
Yes.
So, all right. So welcome to Southern Perspective, episode 12. This is a debrief with context of South Glengarry's April 13th and 27th, 2026 council meeting. So welcome, Lachlan.
Well, thank you for having me again.
Nice to see you again. So today on Southern Perspective, where we sit down with Mayor Lachlan MacDonald to unpack both those meetings. That includes like food bank delegation that came highlighting rising communities' needs, continued progress on your proposed indoor firing range, and the sort of zoning changes to residential development on church lands, key infrastructure investments such as the Sutherland Creek Bridge, and updates on the Char-Lan Recreation Centre project, etc., etc. So welcome, Lachlan. You seem to have had a lot on your plate for these April meetings.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. April showers bring May building. So.
Yeah, Bill May. Oh, cool. Okay. So let's start with the food bank delegation. You had a delegation. It seems that there's rising demand. You received a delegation that highlighted increasing food insecurity throughout the township. So not only affecting the vulnerable population, but also working families and seniors. So what stood out from this food bank delegation in terms of how widespread the issue has become, and is there anything that the township can or perhaps will be doing with this information?
Okay, so they came and presented. They didn't ask for anything specifically. It was an update. So at this time, there's no immediate action. Something we have to keep in mind because of this is the cost of living is going up, and I think you highlighted it with just one of your points. The hardest thing for me to listen to with these is that these are working families going to get food. It's not just somebody who's down and out, which you're always glad to lift them up. It's people who are actively trying and part of the working class that are asking for a little bit more, and I think that's a reality. So actively we can say focus on the tax rate, focus on what we do so that we don't increase it, because it's getting a little bit harder for everybody and it's costing a little bit more. Okay. So that's what I took from.
Is there a, besides Cornwall, is there a food bank in South Glengarry, or?
I don't believe this one's in Alexandria, so that's where this one is. But I don't know of one in South Glengarry. When we do our food drive in Christmas, it's for this one in Alexandria.
Okay. All right. So that's so basically, it's sort of, this was sort of an awareness campaign on their part to say that there is still a need.
Oh, there's a growing need, I'd say. Yes.
A growing need.
Yeah.
Okay. So was this the same delegation that sort of brought forth the cost of living and community impact?
Yes.
So they're the ones who are actually sort of like, because there's inflation, job instability, so forth, obviously because of the global situation. And
gas costs more. That means food costs more. Even our roads generally cost more. You'll see later, as you mentioned, Sutherland Creek came in at budget, which is nice. Yeah. But it seems anytime our prices seem to be going down, there's always something to bump them up, and that
something to offset.
Yeah.
So the firing range, which we discussed the last time. Yes. So council reviewed an official plan amendment number 30. What has it been? 30 amendments to this thing? Yeah. To redesignate this former salvage yard to allow a recreational commercial use indoor, including indoor firing range. So what changed between the last plan, and what are the key conditions to be met for it to move forward?
Yes, so the counties and us both have to approve locally and at the upper tier to change it from a salvage yard, and I forget the exact zoning of it, but it allows for that gun range right now. So we're taking it out of the salvage yard, and we're allowing the use of a gun range.
So is it sort of a zoning does it have to be rezoned? Or?
Exactly, that's what this is. Okay. It has been rezoned. That
okay.
Happened, yes.
Okay, and then is the gun range going forward? Is this how or?
It's the first step. The next step will be to allow it or not. Presently, we've received a petition from near neighbors, kind of voicing their disapproval. We've received information from Arcane Defense, kind of trying to solidify their point, and then we'll have that discussion at a future council meeting. But we've taken step one, which was to convert it from salvage yard to the rezone it to the new use that will allow for a gun range if council decides yes.
Okay, all right. So there will be, there probably will be a delegation to that will sort of bringing forth their points to on both sides.
So we did that's the public meeting, and we've had that. Generally at council meetings this decision. So I would hope that people, if they do come to support or against it, would unfortunately understand that at that point it's a council decision. Public meeting is where we heard the public, and I think probably about 20 to 30 people showed up for that.
Okay.
Already. So
yeah, well, good that you do have that
yeah.
the people do show up at least to participate in that process.
Certainly.
So in your planning process, the role of county council. So you had an amendment that required final approval from council. Can you clarify what role the township plays versus the council in finalizing a project? And what's the project per se?
It's the same thing at a different level. So it was rezoning. It was the county rezoning and the township rezoning. And I'm not as a strong planner. I apologize for that. But there's the official plan and there's our zoning bylaw. And I think it's just making sure that it fits both of those. And the official plan.
So this is for the gun range, right?
Yes.
So both the county and the township have to have their say in it? Or?
Yes, yeah, because it affects different plans and different. I think it's the zoning plan versus the official plan, so they're at different levels, and yeah, it's doing the same thing to different documents.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. So church lands. Okay,
Yes.
church lands development. So you reviewed a zoning amendment tied to severing church-owned land to allow a residential development, including a semi-detached unit. So what made this particular property suitable for residential intensification? Were there concerns with wells or things like this? Or
Well, I should have maybe said before, I think we had 3 zoning, and that might capture all of them. So do you mind if I go through all 3?
Do it.
Okay.
That's that's the purpose of to sort of debrief and explain.
Yes. So the church one in particular is in Lancaster, where our library is.
Okay.
It's owned by St. Andrews United. They have glebe lands. I think I've touched on glebe lands. So it's a church-owned land that has like a 999-year lease. So we have that lease, but they're trying to clear their books and what their ownership is. So the township acknowledged that and has purchased that lot. So now we own the lot underneath the land where the library is.
I have some library
Oh,
things.
sorry.
But it's okay. It's okay. We'll skip over. Okay.
But there was another zoning one
Okay.
on South Service Road. Presently, it is a garage, and it's another garage on the other side. So we had to rezone that one. And the one perhaps that has the house is in Green Valley. There is a property there. I think it's on 3rd Street. The church. Oh, the church. Sorry, I mixed them up. The church owns a little portion, and it was probably a right-of-way at one point.
Okay.
And that right-of-way is being sold to the adjacent owner, and that adjacent owner is going to potentially do that first, and then sever his lot and put a duplex on that property. So that's what you were talking about. So I answered you twice wrong there, just to get to the final point. But that's the one with the church and the property is it. So there's a little piece of property that's being sold to the adjacent owner. The adjacent owner is likely to sever and then put a duplex.
Okay. In Green Valley.
In Green Valley, I think it's 3rd Street off 34.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's it. Okay. So there's sort of traffic safety. There was the county required driveway access from a side street rather than County Road 34. Is this for a specific property or is
the one we just talked about? So if you drive through Green Valley, oftentimes you'll see a lot of the driveways face 34.
Okay.
And the counties prefer it to be on a secondary road.
Oh, okay, okay.
So it's for I think they call it the least amount of vehicles going on and off the road from a driveway on a main road is beneficial to them. So they prefer it on 3rd Street in this case.
So if this would happen again, if there was, like, for example, 2 accesses, the counties would prefer to a secondary road as opposed to a higher traffic county road.
Exactly. That's exactly. They try to keep. I think the words they use is the more vehicles, the more risk of collision.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So Sutherland Creek Bridge. Okay. So you awarded the rehabilitation contract for the Sutherland Creek Bridge and it seemingly is coming in under budget.
Yes.
So we always say seemingly, right? Because you never
Yeah.
know.
Change order, work orders. Yeah.
Yeah, I always I don't like the word seemingly, but sometimes you have to sort of say, you put it out there, especially before it's all said and done.
Yes.
So what does coming in under budget mean for other infrastructure? I know we discussed with North Glengarry, there was some, dust suppression. Sometimes the costs are going up on that too. So coming in under budget, does that mean that the money's reallocated, or how does it?
In this case, I believe it's $4,000 or less, so it doesn't have any meaningful capital input.
Okay.
But whenever you talk about dust suppressant, our dust suppression budget was over budget, so it could, in theory, limit that a little bit. But that one was more $30,000 to $50,000 over, so maybe it chips away slightly at that. But it will just likely get, I hate to say it, but lost in the over general government transfer to or from reserves at the end of the year, because it's not significant compared to the amount of money we're spending on roads as a whole.
Yeah. This little off the, don't want to throw you in sort of throw something at you you're not ready for, but we've had a hard winter, of course.
Yes.
How was how was your the snow removal budget for this year? Was it sort of close or a little over, or?
So we haven't had that number presented to us specifically.
What do you anticipate?
But I anticipate it will be over by a decent margin. At the county level, it was over by, I'd say more than $1 million.
Okay.
So their scope is bigger, of course.
Yeah.
So I'd say our budget's $400,000. I would imagine $75,000 to $175,000 over last year.
Okay.
So yeah, anticipate that. Plus all the gravel that means has been displaced, because the more time you go over, the more chance there is. And
then the winter's been hard, so the roads have been hit harder again this year too. So there's going to be more sort of repairing and more
yes, and the
maintenance per se.
And the frost coming out of the ground is a little slower, and there's still water in our gravel roads. So if I can look into the cameras, please patience on the gravel road owners. That yes, it seems dry for 4 days, but the road's still wet. And as of a week ago, there was still frost coming out of the ground. So so that can play havoc with our gravel roads. But stay patient. We're working on them, and we're investing.
I always say, have you been to Montreal lately?
Oh,
so we can always look at the brighter side of.
Big potholes on 400 series highways.
So we're not doing so bad in this area.
Yes, thank you for that perspective.
Yeah, so it's okay. So drainage infrastructure, there was an engineering appointment. You appointed engineering services to update a municipal drain. Which municipal drain are we talking about? Or?
I believe it's the Oliver McGee drain. It's in Glen Walter, sorry. There's a development behind, oh gosh.
Drains have names?
Drains have names. And South Glengarry actually has, I believe we'd have at least
This is kind of cool.
75 to 90 drains. Okay. And if you count their branches, like nobody's counted them, but I'm sure it's, because I worked on them for a while, 250 to 300 drains. So like you have the Finney Creek is a big one. There's all sorts of ones, but it's Oliver McGee, which is a fun name to have. And this particular one is there's a subdivision going in, so they're just realigning it so that they can square it up. So they have to get an engineer to do that. So this cost will be borne by the developer. But it's north or northeast of Sapphire Hills. So it's in Bayview. It's Glen Walter near Town in Purcell.
Okay.
Yeah, but that Mistral drains. There's a whole world out there.
No, I think it's so it gives this area in the region essence when you have that drain has a name. That's kind of
cool.
And
the name is probably a past farmer who said I need to move my water better.
Yeah,
and then it's probably Oliver and Mr. McGee. Yeah. Oliver McGee.
Yeah, no, that is kind of cool. It lends to the heritage part of this area. I've got a premonition. Things ain't gonna go my way. It's gonna break me down. Yeah, it's taking me day by day. I've got a bad feeling creeping up and down my spine. You're gonna leave me, honey, 'cause it's weighing heavy on my mind. So the Char-Lan Recreation Centre.
Yes.
This is a capital project, right?
Yes.
So you receive updates on this Char-Lan Recreation Centre. including progress and coordination with user groups. So, where is this Shoreline Recreation Center located, and where does the project currently stand in terms of timeline and budget?
Okay, so yeah, I think Char-Lan is Williamstown, so it's the Char-Lan Rec Centre, and it is our. Well, I think we've talked about it before. It is our arena,
Yep.
and it has what we're doing is we're re-encasing it. We're
Yeah.
putting insulation so it maintains the cool better, and furthermore, we're repainting it. So that's
So
same
the Shoreline record is a Shoreline Arena, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yes, I think that might have been and I should have mentioned that to you. I think it's Char-Lan instead of Shoreline. I think that might have just been
That's
one of those things because
typo,
sometimes I type Char-Lan and it brings in like Char-Lan spelled wrong or Char-Lan. But
Char-Lan Recreation Centre.
yeah, sorry, I should have conveyed that to you. But I thought you just were saying it with an accent. So
okay, it's all good, it's all good. So basically, right now everything is sort of on time and on.
Yes, just starting. So I guess seemingly would be a good word because you never know what happens. And on time and on budget. It was actually under budget.
Oh, really? Okay.
The bid. I hope tariffs don't play a role in that because with steel, there's a lot of steel in there. So I'd hope that doesn't affect it. But I think there was room in the tender versus budget to make it work regardless. So crossing fingers that there's not unanticipated costs because of our neighbor in the south.
It is what it is. We'll deal with it, and we'll come out on the other side with knowing a little bit better, and that's it.
Yeah, so. I always wonder. There was somebody on Richer Road told me when I was canvassing last time, who benefits, who pays. So I just know that these tariffs have been kind of they're bilateral now, but they were unilaterally applied, and I know who pays is everybody. I'm always curious to who benefits from those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of speculation on that, but.
Yeah,
it's okay. So the Lancaster Library property. So council approved the purchase of this the Lancaster Library property and secured long-term use. So is this the one on Main Street, or?
This is the one on Main Street, and I kind of got ahead of myself. That's the glebe land that we bought from the church. So we had a 990-year lease, and now we have, I guess, a forever lease. We own the land, so it clears it out. There was a property in South Lancaster that the church had given to us, then we eventually sold it as well later. So it's the second interaction we've had with that church. They've been wonderful to work with, and I think it was $15,000. The prices, you can't buy land for that. I mean, they don't want it. They're community oriented, so it's nice when you have. Yeah, they're not. They're fair with us,
Yeah, and it's paying it forward too. You can sort of later on, if they ask for something, you can be mindful of that. So, what is the library staying there? What are the plans for?
Library stays. I know the library board, which I sit on. That library is small, so they would be looking for a bigger location. They haven't found it, but it is something they think about, but there's no imminent, there's no risk of the library moving. That land will be there and that building will be there as long as they want to be there.
Yeah. Okay. So you had a code of conduct review for governance. You approved a new or a review of the code of conduct. So what prompted the revisit, and what specific areas are you looking to strengthen or to change?
Okay. So when the code of conduct came in for council, we made ours more prescriptive or restrictive than the provinces. And over the last 2 years, we've had a few times where you think you're doing the right thing, but they're different. So we're just aligning them to make sure that when we ask or look for ourselves for information, that the provincial guidelines are our guidelines.
Okay.
So just kind of matching them to make sure it's crystal clear, so we don't make unintentional mistakes or errors in judgment.
Okay, so basically this sort of comes down from all the way from council to all the employees and.
Oh, this one's particularly at council because, say, an example would be the peanut line. We had a conversation about that. I had formerly owned property that abutted it, so I was deemed to be in direct benefit because I am obviously I could financially benefit from buying a piece of land. That's at the provincial level. Provincial, it's yourself, your sister, your siblings. I think it's your grandparents, your kids, and your parents. But we had nieces and nephews, and we had a bit more prescriptive. So we're just kind of matching, like matching it, so there's no ambiguity. It's very clear and matches the province.
Everything is matching at the across the board provincial level, and
yes,
down to the municipal governance level as well.
Yes, and we have control, as does every municipality, to make those policies.
Perfect. Okay. So, heritage designation seems that designating a property sort of generates financial pressures.
Yes.
So you received a request to remove a heritage designation due to rising insurance cost. Um, First of all, I'd like to ask which particular property had this particular heritage designation, and how does heritage designation sort of really um, sort of affects insurance costs that much, or
So we don't have the insurance amount because that's personal information they didn't
yeah,
forfeit to council. I imagine it anecdotally. I understand it can be quite hefty. This property specifically is Curry House,
okay,
and it is on concession 2. I can think off line 4 or 4th line road, just to the east. It's a lovely property. It has so they've maintained it, and it is for sale. And
I saw that, yeah,
I believe that some people are kind of they must be balking whenever the insurance says, well, because of this, insurance prices are higher than what somebody would expect. So and it's an
does it really have to do with designation, or just because it's an older property or an older building that's
So we are going to refer it to the Heritage Committee to get more information about that and bring it back to council with a recommendation. Again, I don't know, like we didn't get the full information because we're going to send it to the committee to get everything. So I don't anticipate the person is lying to us, but from their information, yeah, it appears that way. Which is kind of an interesting conversation because, as you know, South Lancaster has the idea of having a heritage district. So I'm hoping that they'll have eyes on that because if the costs are proven to be kind of exorbitant on the insurance side, it might not be worth it to some of those owners. So it's interesting to see seeing both sides of it. Not just the protection of what you have, but also the cost to protect it. And I'm hoping to attend that meeting just to learn a little bit more myself. So next time I can answer your
no,
question
that is
specifically.
no. I found this particular point really interesting to actually sort of find out as to for me it's important to protect a certain heritage, but if the costs are so if there are significant cost increase or significant cost to do this that's passed down to the consumer or passed down to the property owner, then that's sort of ambiguous, to own or to have a property designated. We all want to sort of keep things, but
Yes.
you're right about the heritage district. That's that's something that to be considered at some point if these property owners are sort of, for lack of a better term, locked into to
Yes.
having a property that they have to pay more for insurance and or other things.
Yeah, and we see it, say the Bishop's House, they had heritage porch, which I think had tongue and groove, which is susceptible to rot whenever like a modern build wouldn't have that. So
Yeah.
there's also sometimes more costs in what how you maintain it. But I don't know if say looking at that house, I'd say the insurance should be say $3,500 to $5,000 because it
Yeah.
is I think it's a stunning house.
Big house.
And they maintained it so well.
Yeah.
But if there's a heritage cost, I don't know if that's an extra 5,000 or 10. Like I don't know what that is, but I think like when you're paying upwards of like $5,000 of insurance, probably feels enough. So if it's anything more than that, I'd feel like it's a lot of money.
Yeah, I'm just curious if there actually is a clause in there that actually sort of mentioned that the heritage designation in an insurance policy,
Yes.
if that would actually sort of dictate some of the price of the insurance per se. I'm not sure that if that's a thing. So
Yeah. And again, anecdotally, because this was passed on as kind of third-hand knowledge, is there is a community that has heritage designation, and I understand it to be, without having fact-checked it, that that high insurance for those houses does sound like it is. It sounds like what happens, I should say. Like, it sounds a reasonable thing that this property owner is coming to us with.
yeah, okay. So recreational partnerships, you approved updated agreements with some recreational groups for arena advertising.
Yes.
So what is the advertising and with who?
Okay, so the advertising is your board advertising
Okay.
behind your placard advertising and your ice advertising.
Okay.
The who is Char-Lan Skating Club, Char-Lan Minor Hockey, and the Glengarry Brigade.
Okay.
If you go back 2 years ago, Glengarry Brigade had all of the ice and board advertising, and we changed it to give some of that to skating club and the hockey, Char-Lan minor hockey.
Okay.
So that's it, and it's just formalizing that contract. By
So the other groups can also benefit from that income itself.
Yes, exactly. And if I think this contract says if they can't sell it, they can give it to the other person. So I know the minor hockey is able to sell everything.
Okay.
I don't believe the two clubs were able to sell some of the ice rental.
Okay.
So if they can't, they can go to the hockey club, and the hockey club can find. So we don't leave it empty. But if somebody can't use it, they can pass it on to the next one. I like that part of the clause. Yeah, and if you're looking at ice time, Char-Lan minor hockey is by far the biggest user of our ice time. So presently, Glengarry Brigade has the most amount of board advertised, and it's equal between Char-Lan Skating Club and minor hockey. So that's something we could look at the future. Hours used versus community benefit. There's all sorts of things in there, but the brigade are so. Sandra Pascal, I'll give her a pat on the back. She does a great job getting the advertising. So she's with the brigade and does a wonderful job. So not trying to take anything away from them, but they do they sell out every time.
Which is good. Credit where credit is due.
Yeah. I just want to go on. I feel like I don't want to fangirl over Sandra Pascal, but she does an excellent job for the brigade.
I always say credit where credit is due. If somebody does well, make sure that they get credit for it.
Yes.
So with Sandra, credit where credit is due.
Yes.
So quarterly reports, you reviewed departmental reports outlining ongoing service demands.
Yes.
Are there departments that are asking for more is demand growing faster than expected, or?
No, the only department that had something for demand growing was the rec department. They asked for it in the budget. It was an extra staff member to look over facilities, particularly the structures. In that budget, we said no, not yet, and there has been no change. So it's pretty status quo. One thing that we have done quite aggressive recently is we're back on tax sales, and those are never popular. And I'm hoping to decrease our our tax arrears. So that's a highlight that I wanted to stand. But nobody's asked for more. They continue to do a lot with what they have. So I guess kudos to staff.
Kudos to staff, and you're aggressively saying, folks, if you owe your taxes, just come out and pay them.
Yes, and we can only do the tax arrears for 2 years and after. So it's not just like somebody missed 1 or 2. And we do send a bunch of reminders. If somebody is hiding from this problem, I encourage them to please contact the township, because there is a company that we outsource to go through the process, and it's they have fees, they get added to your taxes, so better to solve it before those fees start arriving.
Yeah. Okay. So big picture.
Yeah.
Do you feel South Glengarry is entering a phase where growth and everything is sort of balanced cost and pressure? I mean, I know we have a lot of concerns going on, south of the border, with the tariffs and uncertainty in that sense. So you feel that the cost pressures and the community needs are being met, with this acceleration of anxiety and uncertainty.
Yeah, I'd say I think we're still meeting the citizen needs. We do continue to increase the budget, which allows us to keep up with costs. There is a slight worry about the pavement. I think it's PCI, pavement index, construction index, because that can change the cost for your projects based on how much it's costing them to do it. So at one point in 2020, a lot of companies found they underbidded because the costs went up. So we're trying to have that in our contracts. So far, it hasn't benefited us. So if there was any worry, it would be when our big roads contracts come through, what that looks like because of the action in Iran, in the United States and Israel. So that might have an impact on our roads budget. But we've run some pretty big surpluses the last 2 years. So fortunately, we'd have the ability to absorb that and not increase taxes next year, right? So, yeah.
Okay. And this is an election year. You're still, what's your how can I say, what the prognostic? How?
Oh yes.
What's going on? Well, you've opened up the
May 1st? Yes.
May 1st. Yes.
Nomination date starts, and then August 21st is the end. I'm probably a deadline-driven oriented person, so I again. Well, my specific position will be May or June, probably have an idea of what I'm doing. I might action it a little later, but I'll let people know in the order that I need to when that happens. And additionally, I believe I have heard that, Deputy Mayor Lang will be running for mayor. And there's a few others that I think are returning or moving up. I don't know if that's public just yet, so I'll let them share their stories. But Martin has made his intentions. I don't know if he's filed, but it's been public. So that's where South Glengarry is right now.
Okay. So is there anything else you'd like to touch on for this this debrief of the month of April going into the summer?
No, just tell everybody to enjoy the warmer weather and the longer days. I'm starting to really like that 7 o'clock sun.
I think we all are. It's been a hard winter, and we're trying. As you just said, the longer days sort of make us saying sort of helps us breathe a little bit more and sort of be a little bit more optimistic about things. So
yeah, and to our farmers, I suppose it's nice to see the ditches and the grass and our hayfields turning green. So as soon as it dries up, we're going to start seeing our farmers feed us. So best with the weather to them too.
Good, cool.
Yeah.
Good. Well, thank you for coming out. We'd like to thank all of our viewers that do sort of tune in. We're getting more and more. It's nice to see that you folks are tuning in to watch this debrief. We're almost getting to the point where we're surpassing the actual council meeting watch, which is good. I like this. So they'd rather spend 20 some odd minutes with you and I than the 2-3 hours on.
And in fairness, a lot of that would be staff watching it too. There's probably 20 of those watches that we have as staff watching back. So make sure they get there. So you might have to handicap yourself and realize that you're doing much better than you think.
Well, it's okay. So, and we'd also like to thank our sponsor, Glengarry Clothing Company, who's supporting this segment. They're helping with patron sort of financially, but we do want to remind folks that we have other segments, and we are looking for other patrons and other folks to come out of the woodwork, especially now that as we said, summer's here, and we feel that we can we get back into our sort of going out Glengarry mode, and so we're looking for folks to come out and help us financially, or you come out and do some work here at the studio. To even if you have some ideas for podcasts, we'd be willing to entertain that. To anything and everything Glengarry.
Yes.
Because we do live in a sort of a nice, funky little community that has its own. That has a lot of charm, that's for sure.
May I just go on those T-shirts, because I did notice that when you sent it to me. So I'd like you to tell everybody that as you get ready for a bonfire season, you can wear a slick T-shirt and you can get the hoodie too, and they have some fairly nice designs. So I recommend everybody check out their website. What is the website name again?
Yeah, GlengarryClothingCompany.com, and they have the website also has the designs are names after towns.
Oh, fun! I did notice that. Kenyon, and you said Lancaster.
Kenyon, Lancaster, and Kirkhill, and we're going to have some funky little places that we're going to want to. You mentioned to me Vinegar City.
Maybe. Oh yeah.
That's so that might who knows, that might come up in some of our designs. Yep. So again, thanks for watching. Watch for the posts on social media. We'll have a lot more posts, and again, as we said, because spring is here and there's going to be more events, so we're going to be popping up to more events, maybe sticking a camera in your face.
Oh, nice.
And a microphone to get your opinion, your 2 cents. We're already starting on some of that. So watch for the posts on social media. Thank you, Lachlan, for coming in. Really always enjoy. Subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. I always say do this. Hit that subscribe button.
Smash it if you really like it.
Smash it if you really like it. It's on YouTube. It's at My Glengarry TV. We will see you next month.
See you next month.
Cheers.